Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a special episode of Nothing Left Unsaid. I am your host, Abigail, and I'm very excited to be here today. We've got some very exciting news to share. So today, we at Progress Arizona are launching our 2025 Progress Scorecard. This is a tool that we have been putting out for years now, and what it is a tool for Arizonans to be able to easily see how their legislator voted in this year's legislative session. All year, we have been tracking hundreds of priority bills on issues like climate change, reproductive rights, voting rights, education, and grading our legislators based on how they voted so that we can all see which legislators threw us under the bus and which legislators stood up for Arizona working families. So it's super easy to use. You can either search your legislators if you know them, or you can just put in your address and it will pull up your two representatives and your senator in the Arizona legislature. This tool is honestly more important than ever. Things in Arizona and in the country are pretty bad right now, as you may have heard. So it's more important than ever that Arizonans are able to see whether their legislators stood up to the Trump regime and the fascists trying to take power, or if they rolled over and let them take away our rights. So this tool does just that. So to access the tool, just go to progressarizona.org/scorecard. Also, if you follow any of Progress Arizona's social media accounts, we're linking to it pretty much everywhere. So make sure that you check it out and share it with friends so that they can find out what score their legislators received. So first of all, want to give some shout outs to some of our top scorers in the Arizona legislature, our most progressive members, and just want to give them all the flowers and thank yous for voting in line with what Arizonans want and value, and to stand up to all of the insane legislation that Republican legislators insist on introducing year after year after year after year. So in the Arizona Senate, our top scorer is honestly no surprise probably to anybody. It is Senator Annalise Ortiz. Even if she is not your legislator, you might be familiar with Senator Ortiz. She is a TikToker. She is a communications professional. She is so great at making the issues and what is going on at the legislature accessible and understandable for everyday Arizonans who probably don't have time to keep up with the Senate live stream. Senator Ortiz received a score of 95.8%. That is our top scorer in both the House and Senate, and we're so excited to be able to recognize her for all the work that she's done for Arizonans. Most recently, Senator Ortiz has been making headlines for sharing ICE alerts to let her community and neighborhoods know when these masked goons are in the area disappearing and kidnapping people. And she's been attacked by MAGA online. They're calling for her arrest, demanding she be expelled from the legislature. She's been absolutely unapologetic in firing back at them, telling them she's not fucking scared of them, and she will continue to let her community know what is going on when she is able to. So big shout out to her. Make sure you give her a follow on social media. She is really helpful for understanding just what is going on in Arizona politics in general. Shout out to Annalise Ortiz, our favorite progressive baddie. Now I'm going to go through and just give a shout out to the rest of our A scorers in the Arizona legislature. We've got Senator Lauren Kuby with a 94.3%. We've got Senator Mitzi Epstein with a 93.8%. We've got Senator Catherine Miranda with a 93.3%. We've got Representative Mariana Sandoval. She is the top scorer in the Arizona House with a 93%. We've got Lorena Austin. Shout out Lorena with a 92.9%. We've got Betty Villegas with a 92.7%. We've got Sarah Ligori with a 92.4%. Aaron Marquez with a 91.6%. We've got Priya Sundaration with a 91%. And we've got Nancy Gutierrez with a 90.3%. And finally, Representative Oscar de los Santos with a 90.2%. So big shout out to all of our A scorers. Thank you so much for fighting for Arizona families at the Arizona Capitol. Now I want to give a very special boo to our lowest scoring Democrats in the Arizona legislature for failing to deliver for the people who elected them. With a 77.8%, one of the lowest scoring Dems, we've got Representative Kevin Volk from the Tucson area. He should be most known for voting with Republicans to sell out his communities and give funding to Arizona police that would essentially turn them into ICE agents. Again, during a time when Trump's fascist regime is literally grabbing people off the streets in masks, not identifying themselves, ripping people away from their families. And that is what Kevin Volk chose to fight for at the Arizona legislature. So hopefully everyone in Arizona, when they hear or see the name Volk, can remember sold out his communities and supported ICE. Then we've got our lowest scoring Dems. They are Lydia Hernandez, Consuelo Hernandez, and Alma Hernandez. Folks in Arizona politics frequently refer to them as the Hernandi. They are huge pro-Zionists. They sponsor pro-Zionist legislation. Alma Hernandez has sponsored multiple bills to essentially attack and silence anyone criticizing the Israeli government or protesting the ongoing genocide being committed by the Israeli government in Gaza. She sponsored a bill to ban students protesting on university campuses, and also a bill to allow educators to be held civilly liable for criticism of the Israeli government. So once again, big Zionist. And she also voted for the internet porn age verification bill, along with Republicans. So yeah, not big fans of the Hernandi. Feel free to go visit the scorecard to check out their scores and their votes for yourself. So now moving on to the Republican side, we've got, as actually our most progressive Republican with a whopping 17.4%, we have Senator Jake Hoffman. If you're not familiar with Senator Jake Hoffman, he's a big Turning Point USA guy. Huge MAGA, generally one of the worst people around. So we were actually really shocked to see that Jake Hoffman is the most progressive Republican in the Arizona legislature. Hopefully nobody tells his boss, Charlie Kirk. Hopefully that's not an issue for him. Being for real though, 17.4% is a terrible score. And this is the top performing Republican legislator. So really shows you the standard that we're working with here in Arizona. Next up, with a score of 16.2%, we've got Representative Matt Gress. Representative Matt Gress is probably most famous for hosting a lavish wedding in Italy amidst a historic budget deal which almost shut down the Arizona government. So as you can see, he's really got his priorities in order. One thing I want to note about all of the Republican scores, the range is from 17.4% to 8.2%, which is definitely considered an F, but I feel like F is not even, like, what's worse than F? Like F, RIP to all of us. F in the chat, you know what I'm saying? Next up, with a score of 15.8%, we have Senator John Kavanaugh. John Kavanaugh is probably first in line for hell. He's been introducing anti-trans legislation attacking children for decades, literally since before it was cool. So special FU to John Kavanaugh. Next up, with a score of 13.6%, we've got Senator Wendy Rogers. Senator Wendy Rogers is probably, and this is honestly stiff competition, probably Trump's number one cult follower in the Arizona legislature. If we were voting on class superlatives, she would definitely be most likely to literally kiss Trump's ass. Her landmark legislation this session, I believe, was to rename a highway in her district the Donald J. Trump Highway. Thanks, Wendy, for really prioritizing the real issues in northern Arizona. Although I guess I understand why you're not as familiar with what those issues are. For those who don't know, Senator Wendy Rogers is she says she's registered to vote and lives in Flagstaff, but most people agree that she likely lives in Tempe and only ran there to get elected. With a score of 13.4%, we have Representative Alexander Culloden. Alexander Culloden is probably least likely to read whatever bill he is voting on or speaking about. If you watch any of his committee hearings, he just says the most unhinged, like nonsensical shit. It would almost be funny if it weren't for the fact that he is literally tasked with making laws for our state. But if you want to know what one of his top priorities was this legislative session, he fought really hard to make sure that, as a big golf fan, he wanted to really make sure that Arizona golf courses were allowed to permit their patrons to bring their own alcohol onto golf courses. So yeah, basically his big priority was me and all my golf buddies should be able to drink for free at our golf courses. I wish this was a joke. With a 12.8%, we have Senator Mark Fincham. Senator Mark Fincham was present at the Capitol on January 6th as Trump's mob broke in and tried to overtake and steal the election and probably kill some people. But Mark Fincham is back in the Arizona legislature after a failed run for Secretary of State. We should not be letting these people back into public office. I'm just going to say that. With a score of 11.5%, another F, we've got David Livingston. This session, he shamelessly voted to cut funding for Arizonans with disabilities. So we really don't fucking like David Livingston. All my friends hate David Livingston. And with a 9.5%, we have Senator Warren Peterson. Peterson is one of the people going after our most progressive legislator, Senator Annalise Ortiz, for warning her community about ICE. So naturally, he is public enemy number one for us. He also recently asked the FCC to revoke Arizona's PBS broadcast license. So just falling right in line with Trump's attacks on our public media. Peterson also sponsored the Arizona ICE Act and wants to get rid of DEI programs in universities. So he's basically one of Trump's number one little bitch boys, I guess, in the Arizona legislature. So that was kind of a quick, not so quick overview of the scores from some of our legislators in Arizona. Once again, go to progressarizona.org/scorecard and you can see how your legislators scored. We've got about 90 legislators in the state of Arizona, so make sure that you're familiar with how they're voting. Did they get an A? Did they get an F? And let us know in the comments below how your legislators scored. One of the reasons that we put out the scorecard is so that Arizonans have receipts when their legislators are going around talking about all the good that they did for their community, all the rights that they voted to protect, so that you have a place to go and see how did your legislators actually score? Were they progressive? Were they not? Did they vote against this bill? Did they not? And it makes it easy for everyday people to be able to find that information and to have it in their back pocket when they need it. We hope you find this tool to be useful and visit it at progressarizona.org/scorecard. Let us know how your legislators voted. Let us know if you have a favorite moment from this legislative session. And make sure to give Senator Annalise Ortiz and our other A scorers some flowers and some shout outs if you're in their district. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.